improvise music. It really works very well when you have, as we have tonight, some really excellent quality musicians who have their own particular language for their instruments, and they come together and they bounce ideas off one another, and sometimes synergistically and sometimes maybe a little antagonistically, and you never really know quite where they're going to go. Producing all sorts of passing motifs, passing textures and rhythms and all sorts of things. Very, very beautiful music, I think. And just as a little bit of a pointer, I read in Coda magazine a couple of years ago a little bit of analogy for this sort of music, and it compared it to sitting in a train and watching the scenery go by. And it's always changing, and you're always finding little details that you enjoy. So I'm hoping tonight that Eric Stack and his colleagues are going to take us through some fairly beautiful country. Now let me introduce Eric Stack, who is a reed player. He's been playing for a couple of decades with some faithfulness to this style of music. He's toured extensively, and I notice in the liner notes. Sorry, not in the liner notes, in your little program guide here, that he has also got over to Europe and played with some of their notables in this genre of music, such as Dutch pianist Misha Mengelberg. So I'll turn it over to Eric now, and he will introduce the people who are with him.
I'm Eric Stock. Thank you very much for coming tonight. I call the band Free Music Unit simply because the music is 100% improvisation. We never get together to rehearse. We never use music. It's strictly a case of having musicians. In my case, I like to get people of quite different backgrounds. They don't even necessarily have to be jazz musicians. Some are classical. Very often we work with orchestra London musicians in London, rock musicians, folk musicians, as long as they can improvise. Because all I'm interested in is sort of the creative personality of each individual musician. So tonight on piano is Kim Lundberg, and I met him in Saskatoon about 12 years ago. And during a concert seminar I was doing, he just ran up to the piano uninvited and he started playing with us. I've never been able to get rid of him. So it turns out a few years later he ended up coming to London to do a master's at the Faculty of Music in Western, which he's done. And he teaches theory and piano at the University of Western Ontario. The drummer, Terry Fraser, moved to London about 5 years ago from Toronto and had been sort of a lounge jazz player there and has sat in with me a number of times over the last couple of years. Kevin Hogg, he goes back a long time ago when we used to play at, which used to be called the Macdonnell Street Grill, then it was called Timers, now it's the Babelfish Cafe. Okay, so he came in one night, and I think I was playing with the drummer. We were just doing a duo and probably struggling. And he just walked in and introduced himself and said, you know, I wouldn't mind sitting with the band someday. And so I think he probably came in the following week. And we did a lot of playing together over a couple of years. We haven't played together for maybe a year or two now, but it's nice to have him back again. He's the technical director of Ed Video Gallery as well, if you ever want to go up and see him. And Rob McMurray, the guitar player, moved to London from Toronto, what, 5 years ago? 6 years ago? And just called me on the telephone, and he heard that I do free improvisation, and we had a talk on the phone. And just based on the telephone conversation, I said, come on down and play together. So he's been sitting in for the last couple of years, off and on. So that's the band. So we'll do approximately 3 20-minute sets. That'll be our hour.
The first thing we're going to do is you're going to start. I want you just to take a note in your head and start humming it, okay? On the count of First, 1, 2, 3. Hold it.